Alright. Let's try this again. Can you hear me? Can I not save the presentation while I'm streaming? Don't freeze on me. Ah, did I fuck up? I fucked up, didn't I? I did. What the fuck? Log in. Oh no, I forgot. Alright. Come on, Spotify. Let's log in, you piece of shit. Let's go. Bro, how the fuck do I not... Bro, what? How do I not have a Spotify account? What the fuck? I've been using this. Sorry, guys. The technical difficulties abound. Okay. Can I play this in the background so we don't lose? Wow. Well, it looks like we can play it, but we don't need to be blasting it over the... Okay. Anyway. No wonder nobody follows this stream. If I could just get my shit together, am I right? Alright. So, anyway, Anna, welcome to the stream. Thank you for showing up, joining us, and of course, putting this together. As I was... Okay, well, let me go back here then. Would help if I can... So as I was explaining earlier, which I apparently was not able to do, was that we didn't make it on Thursday because the computer, my baby girl, she is in the Krankenhaus right now. She I don't know if I worked her too hard. I don't know if that motherboard just sucks. I don't know if there's something else going on, but she is needing some help, and she cannot find operating systems anymore. So we are streaming from a laptop right now. If this looks different, either by font, by color, by theme, it's because I had to remake this from scratch because I thought it was already saved. I thought this was already saved on my external hard drive, and it wasn't, chat. It was not. And so, yeah, I had to remake it from scratch, which is another reason why this started almost late, up to and including needing to change the bitrate in the middle and this, that, and the other, because I am using a laptop. A good laptop. I'm not like a crappy Chromebook or anything, but it is a laptop at the end of the day. And, sorry, it looks like I also had to move my computer desk and associated stuff. There we go. So, anyway, yeah. We are streaming live from the laptop at the White House. Everything else looks pretty, though, so I think as far as all that goes, we're fine. But yeah. So, we have a lot to cover. Today's U.S. Propaganda Tuesdays, which means we are dealing with the bullshit of this administration and the stress and depression that comes with your computer being in in the repair area. Let's see. Just to kind of keep it consistent with the way I normally look is to the side. But I guess that's not going to work because I'm looking down anyway. Oh well. Let's get into it. Looks like we do have some wins. National Weather Service is getting back together again. Ghislaine is clearly in cahoots with Trump at this point, and well, we will cover that. So let's just jump right into it.
So a few months ago, one of my friends turned me into
And
real estate investment
immediately into
government.
At 5 o'clock, it's about local ICE raids and the impact that maybe we don't talk about enough.
That's right, it's a big one. As families across our area are facing deportation, they are being forced to leave their pets behind. And as our Kelly Vaughn reports, rescues in Montgomery County are really feeling the strain.
Canine Rescue has helped dozens of dogs whose owners are facing deportation. Today alone, they've taken in 2 more. Hi, friends. Hi, everybody.
Okay, this isn't the topic of the video, but how fucking cruel and evil and malicious is it that people with pets are being kidnapped and trafficked, and then their pets are reacquired by these rescue companies, and to do what eventually, right? You're basically stealing people's pets. You are stealing people, trafficking them to God knows where, and then you're going to profit off of their stolen pets and their stolen assets as people then go and either buy the pets or adopt them outright. There's levels of malevolence that just it's like an onion with layers that just gets worse and worse and worse the more you peel back, and pretty fucking disturbing.
Amy Creel.
Yeah, sure, the dogs are cute, but
Rescue.
This is
the how this is happening is malevolent.
And we're going to look to find them homes.
She says the calls and
Right
emails
there.
from people facing
We're gonna look
immigration
to find them
issues
homes.
are ramping
They
up.
have homes.
They've had to
Bring the
turn
people
some
back.
animals away. Her partners across the country are seeing the same thing.
The dogs themselves are so confused. They don't know what's going on. They're coming from loving homes, and now they're taken away from that.
She says it's families who don't want to surrender their animals, but don't have a choice, as they may have lost the breadwinner in their family, face legal fees, or have to leave the country.
This is my best friend. This is my best friend. Oh,
No,
A few days ago.
and that's kind of the joke, isn't it, Anna? We can't catch a break. Neither you nor I can catch a fucking break in this goddamn country. If it's not one thing, it's another. Like, my computer, every person that has seen that computer has been like, dude, do you hack the government with this thing? And I'm like, I could. And yet that's the one that's needing repair right now. And of course you're dealing with life. I'm not going to dox what you're doing, but it is pretty shitty that we just cannot catch a break. But that's why we fight for the future, Anna. And everybody watching, of course. We fight for the future because the future is worth fighting for. So that when things like this happen, these life things, we can get through them without, struggling and suffering for it.
Father in the family is in an ICE detention center, and the family is having to pool all of their resources, financial, energy, time, to try to help him.
She says King's family loves
and
wants him, but they are in an impossible situation.
The only thing that's sad is that he really does just look out the fence, and I feel like he's looking for his
This was his last moments with us, and I had to, before he had to go.
King was Lillian Garcia Nunez's dog until her husband was detained by ICE. She and her 2 daughters live in D.C. and now have to try and move forward without their dad and their dog.
We love King. King was a very loved dog. He wasn't something that you just replaced.
She's lost her husband's income, lost benefits, and has additional legal costs.
And I hope he goes to somewhere with a big yard and someone who gives lots of experience. I want him to go on a farm because he's great with cats, he's great with dogs.
Creel says
Well, this was not the intent of this video, but yeah, that's very fucking depressing. And it just goes to show that all of these deportations are just about the cruelty. It's just the cruelty. There is, like, you're taking the breadwinner. Now you have the mom, the wife, to raise 2 kids without the income that the husband was providing, with rising costs and fees and all this, that, and the other. Like, the whole point is to force these people either out of the country or separate them and then force them into poverty so they can be arrested and be sent to these Auschwitz camps. On top of that, she lives in D.C., which has just recently begun the process of becoming a martial law zone. So none of this is okay. None of this is for the safety or benefit of the American people. This is purely for the sake of cruelty. Now, sorry. Normally I read chat by looking at it as if it's from stream, but now I'm kind of looking off the screen because of the aforementioned stuff. So, TR Hassan, are you an animal lover? I like to think so. I like animals. I can barely take care of myself on a good day, though. I don't know how well I would do taking care of a dog. I think I could handle a cat, though. Put the water in the bowl, food in the bowl, give them enough places to run around in, indoors, so they don't, catch whatever ailments are outside, and then take them to the vet on occasion. I think I could handle a cat. I think a dog has too much energy, too much needs, too much, it would be like having a toddler, and that's a bit much because I work. And I don't get to work from home nearly as much as I would like. And it's just me. So, I mean, I know we're in the White House, but we don't have enough staff to handle the dog. So, yeah. I hope that answered that question. Oh, sorry. Got a cramp in the leg now. I think we lost HR. I didn't respond fast enough to him. I was in the middle of my monologuing. But let's move on from this because that's depressing as shit. Let's do the National Weather Service because that's what we were trying to watch.
Anywhere here in Ohio, get rid of your ugly Windows system today and replace it for just $83 a month.
Bam.
The National Weather Service will rehire hundreds of positions months after they are eliminated by the Department of Government Efficiency. The new hiring target will include 126 new frontline mission-critical roles. The NWS has approved to hire 450 meteorologists, hydrologists, and radar technicians. The agency was scarred by DOGE firings and employees taking the fork-in-the-road early retirement option. More than 5...
So, okay. We're getting our employees back. We're hiring a few more, but isn't the bigger concern with the National Weather Service not so much that there weren't meteorologists, which is, of course, bad, but also the lack of telecom, like the satellite access, the gutting access to the actual GPS satellites and whatnot, and then replacing it with Starlink? Wasn't that the main problem?
550 people left the agency or were forced out. Staffing shortages at NWS led to multiple offices closing and limited operations. However, these hirings will not make up for all the lost personnel. Cuts to the agency have raised concerns that it's not prepared for hurricane season or other major weather events.
Right, because you can't track them.
In Houston, which is vulnerable to extreme flooding and hurricanes, remains without its top 3 leadership positions.
Yeah, so it didn't address that. But that's the thing, right? If you don't have your technology, because here's the thing, all of your little weather apps were from the government. Yeah, it might have been said it was from MSN or Yahoo or whatever, National Geographic, but it was the government satellites, right? And with those being not used anymore, or not quite decommissioned, but you get where I'm going with this, that is what's causing the problems with the National Weather Services and why those floods that have been happening and those natural disasters that have been happening have been so damaging and deadly because there aren't the early warning systems, right? And, of course, the lack of personnel. Even without the satellites, there is enough technology on the ground to where at least having boots on the ground would have been enough for warning. And, again, this administration is responsible for killing those people, the people that have died in these natural disasters, because they gutted the very departments that were in charge of preventing those disasters, or at the very least, the loss of life. Never mind, of course, gutting FEMA. And it's just, it all compounds, right? You cut the National Weather Service, you cut FEMA, people die. Right? And if people die, that means they can't do jobs. If they can't do jobs, that means the economy starts to crumble. If the economy starts to crumble, it starts impacting larger and larger and larger and larger things until it affects the entire country. And then when you're also, what's the word I'm looking for, exacerbating the situation by tariffing our allies, now you're rising the cost of goods, causing layoffs, causing shortages, causing. It's all compounded. If you pull one thread in the government infrastructure, it ends up unraveling the whole fucking thing. And this piece of shit, this administration is pulling all the threads at once and is shocked when things start to collapse. That's the main takeaway. I don't want to listen to his voice, but we are going to discuss Ghislaine here.
Soon, millions of us will pay more for healthcare, and we'll see a hike in electricity bills. All because
15-second unskippable ads, our favorite. Oh man, I'm going to be going through water like crazy.
Has learned the Trump administration is considering publicly releasing transcripts of Ghislaine Maxwell's two-day interview, according to a source familiar with the matter. Maxwell spoke with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who is also President Trump's former personal lawyer.
I think he probably wants to make sure that, people that should not be involved or say with importantly.
We're not listening to him.
Security federal
shit.
Was appropriate.
I didn't discuss it with him, but the fact that he did that
had a locked up position there.
Most importantly is something that would be totally above board.
The president also denying he played any role in the transfer of Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator and former girlfriend from a Florida prison to a minimum security federal prison camp in Texas that typically does not hold sex offenders.
I didn't know about it at all.
Democrats have raised concerns about...
See, this whole thing, we're going to release parts of the transcript of the interview with her. After she is now being released saying that, Trump only came to the parties where politicians and corporate leaders and celebrities were having sex with children. Trump would come to these parties, but read a book. That's what she's claiming in the interview, and he's going to release that shit. And we're supposed to believe it after she got transferred to this apparently prison camp, which doesn't even sound like a prison. It sounds like a rehabilitation center, which, according to a lot of the articles that I've been reading, is effectively what it is. It's the prison for the rich and the famous and the powerful to, just kind of skate on by through their prison sentence. And yet we're supposed to expect or believe that there is no collusion, that there is no guilt from either party. That's insane. Take it from, you've heard it here first. Probably not first, but we are probably days, if not weeks away from Ghislaine getting a fucking pardon from Trump for her crimes, because she is going to lie on the stand. Jesus, I don't know why I can't think. Probably all the fucking trauma of my computer today. She is going to be lying on the stand saying that Trump didn't do anything, and she's going to earn a pardon for that. And then she's going to be free in the world to either carry on what Epstein did or continue blackmailing the rest of the world into doing whatever the fuck Israel wants. This is disturbing.
Maxwell's discussions with the Justice Department, implying she's seeking favorable treatment from Trump, which Maxwell's attorneys deny.
It's clear that she might be willing to say whatever it takes to essentially target certain folks and not target Donald Trump.
Her team is now filing a request to block the government's efforts to release long-secret grand jury transcripts. Her lawyers insist that despite whatever interest the public may have in Epstein, her legal options are viable and her due process rights remain.
See, the fucking audacity. These pieces of shit are going to fight tooth and nail for her due process. Meanwhile, we're kidnapping brown people, black people, homeless people, foreigners off the fucking streets. People who are just visiting this country. Who are here legally, by the way, visiting this country. We're going to literally kidnap people off the fucking streets in the middle of the night in broad daylight and send them to God knows where without reading them their rights, without any warrants for arrest, none of that. We have already sent American citizens, not naturalized citizens, natural-born citizens. We have sent them overseas. We have put them into prison without due process because they fit a description. But this human trafficking child predator scum has lawyers that'll defend her due process. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, just because she's a criminal scumbag, she doesn't deserve due process. What I am saying is it's really fucking hilarious how she gets all of her due process guaranteed, but the people that are being kidnapped and trafficked don't. Disgusting.
adding Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Ghislaine Maxwell is not. Even though the White House has been eager to move past the Epstein saga, in a bipartisan vote, the House Oversight Committee is issuing a new subpoena, calling on the Justice Department to turn over all its files related to the cases against both Epstein and Maxwell. Republicans on the committee also issuing subpoenas to depose nearly a dozen people, including Bill and Hillary Clinton, 6 former attorneys general, and 2 former FBI directors. Some Republicans in Congress now facing questions about Epstein in their home districts.
Why are you covering up the Epstein files?
Well, not only that, the Republicans are clearly going after political opponents, and then the Democrats are just trying to reveal the files so they can grift some support because they have, less than 20% support across the country? And now the Republicans are having to eat crow because that's what they ran on. They ran on conspiracy theory. Now that the conspiracy theory has come home to roost, they're trying to ignore it and pass the buck.
I am for the release of those records.
Now, the House Oversight Committee did not subpoena former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, who served as Florida's Attorney General when Epstein received a controversial non-prosecution agreement in 2008 that allowed him to serve minimal prison time. The committee announced it would give the Justice Department 2 weeks to deliver all of its files on the Epstein case to Congress. Savannah?
Gabe Gutierrez, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Was that it? Okay, so that was actually worse than I was expecting that video to be. I actually thought it would focus more on Ghislaine being at Texas and the possible behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on, but the corruption, the unmitigated sheer corruption, and the blatancy of it all. Right? You got Republicans trying to play both sides of the hand, like, oh, this doesn't actually affect us, but if it does, it's the Democrats, and specifically these Democrats, the same Democrats who have been trying to target or undermine the Trump administration. Those are the Democrats that are responsible and are on the Epstein list. And it's when you add it all together, it's gaslighting, for one. It's gaslighting the American people, right? The truth is what we say it is. Reality is what we make it out to be. And quite frankly, this has been going on for 2 or 3 weeks now. Specifically, since mid-July? Has it been almost 4 weeks now? It might have been 4 weeks now at this point. That this Epstein scandal has been gaining steam, and there has been a public push to have those files released. And it almost seems like it's been buried in the news already. And that people are, yes, talking about it, but not nearly as vocally or as aggressively as they were even 4 weeks ago. If we don't even have the endurance to fight on this red line, which has apparently struck the chord with the most Americans, then fascism, although here, the bootstepping, the leather boots on the neck, that is literally right around the corner. If we cannot hold our ground on Epstein and demanding that this happens and holding this administration accountable, they're trying to militarize D.C. for fuck's sake, so that they can use that as a precedent for the rest of the country, which they already tried in California and it fell flat. Folks, I'm not trying to be an alarmist here, but this administration is already rewriting history. It's already passing executive orders to make the Smithsonian only put forth the history that this administration agrees with. It's already tried undermining the Constitution, due process, successfully undermined due process, I might add, and is continuing to expand that. They are now beginning to hire 100,000 ICE agents with a six-figure salary and $45,000 sign-on bonus, so that when they turn against the regular public, there is less incentive for them not to do that because, well, shit, if I don't do this, then I'm just going to end up being one of the victims. We cannot continue down this path. We cannot. It's already too late. It's already long past due for us to do something about it. And if we're losing steam now on the easiest, lowest hanging fruit, the Epstein list, we are going to be in for a very harsh and very rude awakening by the next few months, this time next year. I mean, it is, folks, they They are literally in the process of rigging elections for the 2026 election cycle. We are literally this close from having elections taken away from us, from the right to vote to be taken away from us, for the bipartisanship, to that illusion to even exist. That is getting erased before our very eyes in real time. And this Ghislaine Maxwell thing, the DC militarization, those are the screaming, dying canaries in the coal mine, and the first few miners dropping dead as you escape. And there is no escape. We are in the fucking coal mine, folks. And we are running towards the shaft, trying to get out. But we are at the bottom level. And we are watching our friends, our family, our neighbors, our countrymen die due to the corruption and wanton disregard for the rule of law and the Constitution of this administration. I cannot stress that enough. Cannot stress it enough. All right. That's just partisanship. Let's see if there's any different information in this video.
Whispered this lemon water secret that restored my mother's memory in 3 weeks. Memory loss.
How can anyone not see the corruption with Ghislaine being moved to a prison where she's the only sex offender, or the fact that she's lying about Trump's involvement in the island? He went to the pedophile parties and was reading a book. That's still guilty by association, motherfucker. If you go to where crimes are happening, better. Say, for instance, you're at the MS-13 cartel headquarters in the United States of America, and you are just reading a book in the living room of one of the cartel members that is about to get raided, is in the process of getting raided by, what, the FBI? All right. So as the FBI is arresting the shit out of MS-13 and shooting and bullets are flying, they come across you, whomst is just reading their book on the couch in the living room at the MS-13 headquarters. You think you're going to get arrested? You think they're just going to be like, oh, this gentleman was clearly just reading. He clearly has nothing to do with these other events going on. This guy is just an innocent bystander at the MS-13 headquarters reading a book, minding his own damn business. Like, that isn't an excuse. If anything, Ghislaine has put him at the parties. With her testimony, she has stated Trump was present at the parties. That makes him complicit, folks. That makes him complicit in every sense of the word. Yes, and that's what I was actually discussing earlier, is the get moved and or possibly pardon. Stop telling us what to think and feel. Also them. I'm going to disappear you for reading a book. You obviously think bad thoughts. It's even worse, though. It's like them. The Democrats are a bunch of pedophiles ruining the country. Also them. Don't look at the fact that the Republicans are a bunch of pedophiles ruining the country. They're doing the right thing, and it's the Democrats that are getting in their way. Like, just the ignorance on top of everything else. It's mind-boggling, is what it is. It is truly mind-boggling. Utah man changed the law or is trying to shield his pedo relative. No, I remember that too. That might very well be coming up in today's stream here.
Lawyers for Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell are arguing against the unsealing of grand jury testimony against her.
Okay, so that's just... We're just going to assume that was more of the same. Oh, mystery third figure.
Let's get to that then. So CBS News actually did a great job. They did almost a 10-minute investigation into this, and they compiled some of the stuff that we've talked about here about the camera angles and all this, but they did a very good job of showing some of the graphic.
It would be nice if the Dems were not also implicated in the Epstein files so they could get rid of them. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Everybody's on the Epstein files. The only people that aren't on the Epstein files are us, regular folks. which is why we are slavering at the maw to have them released so we can prosecute everybody. And it's in my policy platform. It is literally there. The Epstein files, let me just find it real quick on the website here. Copy link address. Like right there. And in my own policies, the very policies that I am using to run for president under, is specifically, if you're in the Epstein list, you will be charged with conspiracy as well as all of the other shit that goes along with it. Like, that should be the only fucking answer, the only stance. That is the only correct view on the Epstein files list, which is what the public is demanding, and yet everybody's like, well, if we, well, we can't find it, but we can, but it's not actually, but what it is, but, like, no, motherfucker. Quit dancing around the bush. And let the people fucking have their day. Because this isn't...
And they brought in some more metadata analyses to show both a third person that's available and visible in the video, actually.
Laura Loomer's
anti-Jesus slut is the one released by the DOJ.
That is meme material,
CBS
though.
News has reviewed the tape, and this is what it shows. The primary entrance is here. The pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera, leaving ample room for someone to enter unseen. This is the last time Epstein is believed to have been seen on camera, but we don't see him walking up the stairs to his cell. Bongino also said none of this video was doctored. It was the original, raw footage from the camera.
We're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
But a review by multiple video forensic experts found several indications this may not be raw footage. For example, at 11:21 p.m., a cursor appears briefly, indicating the video may have actually been a recording of a computer screen.
Holy
Experts
shit!
told CBS News the video's metadata, which tracks how a file is created and changed, shows it's made from 2 clips edited together. Then, at 11:58 p.m.
So wait a minute. Hold the front... oh, that's my little mouth guard. That's not something to... hold the front fucking door. You know what? No. This is some, like... We need the guns right now. The beret out here. I don't know if that looks right. Are you telling me that they claimed that the video was unedited, but did such a piss poor fucking job of editing the video that they actually caught the mouse in the editing? What were they doing? Screen recording the whole fucking video? Screen recording! That's the only... like right now, my mouse is over my face, touching my right eyeball. Now it's touching my left eyeball. It is touching my left eyeball. And you know what's not visible right now on stream? My fucking mouse! Because of the software that is being used. So these fucking morons not only lied to the public, gaslighting, bad enough, but then they did in fact do the video editing so poorly that a fucking mouse cursor showed up. Are you fucking kidding me? Wow. JD Pritzker says no more blank checks to Israel. Isn't this the same Pritzker who campaigned for blank check? Probably. They're grifters and flip-flop to whatever makes the most sense for them to get votes and donors. I don't really know how to wear a beret, apparently. There's a Hassan vid about MAGA fighting and slut-shaming each other. I bet that'll be entertaining. Isn't it funny that Noam said Team Blue engages in this crap, but they do it themselves? Sam's gonna lead his own guardian angels to protect this country. I mean... nope. You know what, though? Hold on a second. Actually, I do have a prop that I could use. Hold on a second. wouldn't be a stream without props. Actually, if we're going to be really based about this, if we're going to be really fucking based, which I guess the red... I mean, granted, if it's a lightsaber, you can't actually put it on your shoulder unless you're wearing Beskar armor. And now, all of a sudden... I'm actually mildly curious now. Would this... Well, no, if I turned off the lights... Suffice to say... Sam's Angels. Sammy's Angels. Yeah, because it has to be like Charlie's Angels. It has to have multiple... Well, then wouldn't we just go with Ronan's Angels? Wouldn't that be the thing? An angel, which is ironic because of where you get your youth from, right? Well, in Anna's case, yeah, we'd have to do Vampires Angels or something along those lines. But, yeah. There's a lot that needs to happen in the very near future with messaging and this, that, and the other. Because, yeah, shit is bananas. Alright. Wow.
Video suddenly jumps to midnight, and the aspect ratio shifts.
And every night should have the same minute missing, so we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
But a government source familiar with the probe told CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of a copy of the video that records with no interruption.
Well,
how is there a minute missing and that's just
convincing to me?
What? Oh my god! All right. The video is unedited, but then there's a cursor screen, or a mouse cursor in it, which means they had to screen record the edited version, which don't even get me started. Then there's the other discrepancies, the ratio that they mentioned, right? But then, the Attorney General herself said, oh, that's just normal, don't you know? All of our video recordings just miss that minute. It's just a weird thing that we at the government do. Are you fucking serious? I was in the military. I assure you, if I didn't account for every last nanosecond that I was on base, or that I was, like I did flight line escort duty, there is what's called night watch, overwatch, different branches call it whatever they do call it. If there was a single minute unaccounted for, and it was your job to do the guard keeping and the gate duty or the whatever else, you would be court-martialed. You would be sentenced to Fort Leavenworth. You would be dishonorably discharged. Like, there is, especially if an incident occurred, right? You might get away with it. Yeah, sure, fine. You might get away with it. Yeah, that's possible, right? It's possible. But if, the person you were protecting, the asset you were supposed to keep secure, if somebody died, if, I don't know, something was stolen, and you're like, oh, well, this minute just never occurs, that the video's just to skip at the 11:59 and go straight to midnight, don't you know? You would have your asshole expanded to the size of the planet Uranus. And then you'd be court-martialed and sent to Fort Leavenworth, hard labor, and dishonorably discharged. Like, this isn't, like... It's like the Watergate tapes, except exponentially worse because it's literally in color, 4K, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't help matters when a blue overlord appointed justice from 2009 to 17 and blocked release of the Epstein files. Correct! And then, what, the state in Florida and California, because there were two different cases, and both states blocked the stuff? Yeah. I don't care what the reasoning is, you release it. The full unedited versions without the fucking mouse cursor! For fuck's sake! And now what's this I hear? She gets to now do work, like a work release program or whatever the fuck. Yeah, like I said, she is days, if not weeks away from getting a full presidential pardon. Days or weeks. Mark my words. All right. Revolution head. There we go. Do I look pretty? Mouth is full. All right. That's batshit.
Don't you think?
Funny how they never released that video showing, every night the same minute is missing. We're going to get that to you. Still waiting on that one.
We talked about it. It's like, it is theoretically possible that some 1990s era system does that, but then you're going to have to release a lot of evidence. And again, the metadata there doesn't lie, as they show. They also have this recording. It's like, what are we doing? Potato quality now from the government, where we're going to record our photos? It's like, what are we doing here? It's like,
it's just
that's the boomerest move I've ever heard.
The degradation in this government to not even be able to do the basics of an effective cover-up, Sagar.
I thought
what have we...
I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and advocate for government to be corrupt and cover up its own crimes, but they make a point. They are so grossly incompetent, they can't even do a good job of covering up, or even attempting to cover up. Again, I don't know of any video editing software that I have used. I have used Adobe CC. I've used Blackmagic Studio. I think I've used like a generic Microsoft one. I have used plenty of them. And I've heard, the Macintosh version, like the ones you can do from your phone. There are so many video editing softwares out there, and not a single fucking one of them have I ever came across where it actually screen records your fucking mouse, unless you are recording your screen. That's the only way that I have ever seen video editing software cover a mouse cursor. And even then, I think it's a setting in most software. I'm almost certain it is an actual software, like a setting in the software where, do you want the mouse cursor to be visible? Like, you have to be, I don't even, so many levels of incompetent, and then finding software that allows you to even do it on top of that. Like, so it also, then that would imply that it was edited by different people using different software, because the same person would have made the same mistake over and over again, instead of completely different, extremely obvious and amateurish mistakes. Like, this wasn't even the social media department of the White House. This wasn't the White House videography department, right? Like, the people who actually make videos for a living to clip together the speech or the event or the ceremony. This was literally a fucking crony who has no goddamn clue about what they're doing, and is fucking it up so profoundly that they are doing things that are by default not even possible, because the cursor being removed is a default thing. Like with XSplit, I'm almost certain that you have to download a plugin for you to actually be able to see. Let's see. Removing XSplit Broadcaster from display capture will also hide it from other applications which use display capture methods. Right. So again, it's a box that you have to physically check. Sharing hotkeys. Audio wouldn't be under audio. Advanced. And this, I think, is about processing. So, in the default settings menu for XSplit, there is still nothing to do with the cursor, which means it's a plugin. Because obviously streamers do, tutorials from their videos sometimes and need to point and click and highlight. And it's like this, yellow thing. It's like, oh, look, there's the eyeball. Oh, look, there's the nose. Oh, there's the the stars and the tassel. Oh, that's so confusing. There we go. There's the tassel. You know? But with a mouse, obviously. Unbelievable. Not only do we have the Ohio waters getting to rise for Red Vice's boating trip, they had Disneyland be a madhouse back in July for their family trip. And Red Vice said, sorry, you had to deal with long lines, but he had a wonderful time. Right. And then he has the audacity to be like, I can't believe people have been booing me. I can't believe people have been saying shit to my children. My wife is on the verge of leaving me because I'm a racist, white supremacist piece of garbage and she's brown, as are my children. Like, sorry, I wasn't trying to... I know I'm monologuing, but it's just... It is mind-boggling the level of corrupt... Because, again, Watergate was a recording. It was just an audio recording. It wasn't even a videotape. It was just an audio recording. And that forced Nixon to resign, with Republicans on board telling him to resign. We have this shit in 4K. Well, 720p, but you get where I'm going with it. He said his way of dealing with the temper tantrum toddler in public is to grab the kid, go to the bathroom, and tell him to cut that shit out. Yeah, parenting 101. And he's like smiling. Dude is a psychopath, if not a sociopath. Yeah, I think psychopath is the worst one, though. I think out of those two. But no, he absolutely is the main takeaway. He is 100% a not good person, and is obviously doesn't have all their faculties, and is devoid of human emotion. Clearly. All right. So they're just going to talk shit, but I'm stressed. I have a tummy ache, and I'm already out of water. Like, damn, what a stream we have right now. What do we got going in here?
Watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
If you have to
wow, really? We're just going to go straight into bowels? That's disgusting.
Back into session to pass a GOP gerrymander that the party hopes will flip 5 House seats from blue to red. But for the second straight day, Democrats will block a vote by quite simply skipping it.
Actually, didn't 5 Democrats or so already capitulate to the Texas Republicans? And now the Texas Republicans are able to gerrymander Texas? So... how long ago, how old was this? 7 days ago. So, like, this is only 7 days old, and the news is already old and wrong, in the sense that it has changed so profoundly. Oh my God, we live in the scariest fucking timeline.
Democrats in Austin, there will be no quorum and no vote. But if and when Texas Republicans manage to muscle through their new map,
which they have as of this point,
he's ready to fight back.
Whatever they are doing will be neutered here in the state of California. He recognizes he's going to lose in the midterms, and we have the opportunity to de facto end the...
Hold on a second. I've met Gavin Newsom. When I ran for DNC chair, I met this smarmy, slicked hair back motherfucker. And in my ignorance, I think I endorsed him too, which, sorry guys. I was definitely left-leaning back then, but I was ignorant and therefore doing neoliberal things, so I apologize. But I remember him having a much stronger voice. He sounds damn near like RFK Jr. right now. Is his throat sore, or does he have that same vocal cord dysfunction? Exactly, yes! The snake oil salesman shit. That motherfucker just screams snake oil salesman. Grifter. I'll say whatever I need to say in order to sell you this car. You ever try this snake oil? I tell you what, it'll make you feel young again. That piece of shit. Was he better back then? So I wasn't a complete sellout or ignorant fool? Thank you. That makes me feel a little better. Also... why isn't this scrolling all the way down? There we go. Oh, wait, is this how to make the font a little bigger? There we go. All right.
Presidency in less than 18 months. That's what's at stake. And that's why we're putting a stake in the ground. We're not drawing lines to draw lines. We're holding the line on democracy, on the rule of law.
Oh, my God. All right, apparently that didn't work as intended either. Whatever. This guy just said, we are holding the line for democracy and we are fighting back against this administration. By allowing the motherfucker to activate the National Guard in your fucking state and then being like, oh, I can't believe he did that. He's not allowed to do that. And didn't actually challenge him in any meaningful way. As in, hi, National Guard who just got activated by the president. He doesn't have the authority on account of I didn't ask for him to do that. Which means by the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the Constitution of California, as Governor Newsom, which is me, I am ordering you to stand the fuck down, and if you don't, you will be summarily court-martialed and dishonorably discharged and then arrested by local law enforcement, or state, whichever the case may be, and you will serve sentences for insurrection and sedition. That is resisting the Trump administration. That is how you fight back against corruption, and that is how you protect democracy. But instead, I'm gonna go on the news and be like, slick back hair, I'm Gavin Newsom, and Trump is being a little child. Ha 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 ha. He can't do that, but I'm also not going to do anything about it because I'm a Democrat, and I'm Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, Democrats, California. Now, I have said in the past that in his defense, if this is what he was even thinking, which I doubt it was, if you were the government of California and if the president activated the National Guard in your state, and if you were so thoroughly concerned that your actions at, undermining that could potentially result in an escalation of that administration in your state, and therefore you chose not to, fine, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You still say that, though. Hi, I'm Gavin Newsom. I'm the governor of California. Governor Newsom. As the governor, I did not ask for the President of the United States of America to activate my National Guard. My National Guard. The California National Guard. Because I, the governor, Governor Newsom, Gavin Newsom, me, the governor of California, didn't request it. But in the interest of maintaining the peace and not escalating this further, because this fucking president is a goddamn man-child with the insecurities of a very unpopular and bullied child in school who also has the social abilities of a mosquito, I, Governor Newsom, the governor of California, will refrain from interfering in that activation by countermanding the order with my order as governor, the governor of California, me, Gavin fucking Newsom, the governor of California. That would have been an extremely powerful statement. It would have shown defiance against the administration. It would have stood firm in defense of democracy. It would have highlighted what's at stake and what the possible outcomes and ramifications of his actions or inactions could be. And it would showcase to the people that he is aware of what is happening, that he is aware that it is corrupt, that he is aware that there is something that he himself could do about it, but is making the deliberate choice not to, so to prevent any escalation which could potentially be justified by this administration, so that he can maintain peace, order, and democracy within the state of fucking California. And he didn't. No, unless I'm mistaken, I don't remember seeing that video, because we would have covered that and I would have been like, God damn, that Gavin Newsom got some testicles. I tell you what. That's my gardener right there. I tell you what. That's a man. That's a man that stands on business. And he stood up against that orange piece of trash at the White House, and he told him what for. I tell you what. But no, because I would have lost my mind, and whatever the kids say when you lose your mind on crashing out. Is that what the kids say, crashing out? I would have crashed out over that, but that's not what happened. Oh, he promised Medicare for all for California and then vetoed it. That's a video we should cover on Thursday. They're suing the administration over that now, like a month later. Right. A month later, when it's no longer in the news and people have forgotten it and buried it because of Epstein and now the martial law in D.C. His talk and action to online, correct. I think it's checked out like you're checking out. Yeah. Yeah. I still haven't mastered talking from the diaphragm. So my whittle throat muffles are a little sore right now. A little patched, as they say in New England. So I'm going to grab some water. I'm going to regale us with some music. Oh, wait, do I have? Oh, sweet, yes. Oh, shit. Oh. I need to pay attention to when my screen shifts back. I'm gonna get in trouble one of these days. I got a little, got a little enthusiastic. You know, you just hear the communism and you're just like, whoo. Sam, I'm not sure if I ever asked you this, but what was your plan for expensive gluten-free prices? Fun fact, once we federalize every facet of the economy and industry, we can then literally determine the cost of goods based on the need and how much it is used. So, how boring do I want to be about this? The economy is a made-up construct. Once you and then control the means of production, you control the means of production, right? Well, you can't just get rid of money because then people won't. You're right. It would be a gradual de-escalation of cost of goods. So the first thing that would happen would be like a retracement of, like, say, 10 years ago. And then it would go a retracement to 20 years ago, and a retracement to the 90s, and a retracement until we're at a point where the cost of goods makes reasonable sense with the cost of living that we have established and the wages that we've established, right? As well as the global economy. We're still going to be importing. We're going to be importing stuff. I don't know what stuff necessarily. Could be, fruits, for instance, right? A lot of citrus goods, coffee beans. As we transition away from natural gas and oil and fossil fuels generally, we will be importing less and less of that, but we're going to be using some of it. Rubbers and petroleum, we would need to find different ways to do that, which I think we can usually do with plastics and hemp. I think we import steel. We import rare earth magnets, because that just doesn't exist anywhere. And then I don't believe we have diamond mines that can produce industrial diamonds. Now, we can also obviously make them in a lab, but you get what I'm saying. Like, there are things, fish, you know, like we have coasts, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. Like, there are things that we physically are unable to do in America, right? Tropical things being the primary thing, and then certain minerals and raw materials being the other. So, aside from that, we can determine the cost of goods however we decide. So, with gluten-free, we can just be like, nope, it is the same price as everything else. It's just gluten-free. So, now that we're back on track. Whoop. By the way, fun fact, if you are on a web page, at the very least Google Chrome, if you're on Google Chrome and you have multiple tabs open, if you hold Control and press any of the number keys, it'll go to that tab. So if you only have 3 tabs open and you press 4, nothing will happen. But if you hold Control and press 1, it'll go to your first tab and vice versa. So, fun fact, if you're at work and you are watching YouTube or Crunchyroll and your boss walks in, Control 3. Fun fact. All right. Fuck Gavin Newsom.
I took control, went solo, and built my own online knife empire.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't think you'd get tech support in a political channel, did you? Because I am a nerd. And I have a lot of useless knowledge for a lot of different things. So, you're welcome. Like, share, and subscribe for more useless information that you may or may not need and you may or not be aware is going to happen in the channel.
Sweeping tariffs on goods across the globe are officially set to take effect. Their implementation has the director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, telling the American people to relax, that the, quote, tariff uncertainty period is behind us. But for a lot of business owners, the future is still very much uncertain as they navigate this new economic era, trying to figure out exactly what it means for their businesses,
that smells great.
their employees, their livelihoods moving forward. One Detroit auto supplier says he's going to have to lay off employees and close a warehouse because of
Bullshit. A company does not have to lay off workers ever. And it also doesn't have to close a warehouse ever. Companies who do that do so because they don't want to lose their profit margins and their own bonuses and their own stock buybacks and their investor this, that, and the other bullshit. Which, again, once the people own the means of production, none of that will ever come to play ever again anyway, because people will own the production and people will not lay each other off. You might have to be trained in multiple services or industries. That might very well be a thing, so that if we don't need as much in this sector, we can transition to this sector. Or we can turn this sector off and run this sector and turn that one off and the other one back on again if the need arises. Because a functioning economy and a functioning industry meets the needs of society, not profit margins. So if we don't need cars and trucks, but we need railroad cars and semi-trucks, well, then we aren't going to make cars and trucks. We're going to make semi-trucks and railroads, right? If we've already produced 80,000 tons of bread, and the same factory can produce bagels, why would we produce another 80,000 tons of bread if people aren't going to eat it? You know what I'm saying? So, like, the bread makers and the bagel makers might be two different facilities. Or it might be the same facility, but this is the need. But instead of being profit-driven, you're society-driven. It's like, all right, our bagel threshold has been reached. People are enjoying their bagels at lunch and brunch and lunch and brunch and breaks. Anyway. My company's computer guy. Fun fact, I am my company's computer guy. I am the person that knows the most about SAP, and anytime anybody has a question about any other software in the company, they always ask me for my opinion helping them navigate it. And anytime there is a need for data collection or analysis, I'm the first one they ask as well. And I'm not even in the department of which I am getting asked to do half of this shit from. I loved that skit on NSL of Nick Burns. He kept mocking the computer illiterate, and he'd always say, move. I'm not... well, I guess I am that bad. I have definitely been like, here, just let me pilot, and I'll show you what I'm doing, and then you can do it. But let me pilot first so you see what it is I'm doing. So, yeah, I guess I'm a skit, too.
Tariffs. Joining us now is the CEO of Detroit Axle, Mike Mushanish. Mike, thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Now, we're not giving this piece of shit a fucking platform. Oh, I have to lay off people in the most iconic auto manufacturing city in America. Oh, because I need more gel for my receding hairline. Fuck you.
Don't mix pink salt with lemon and 2 other ingredients if you don't want to donate your entire wardrobe in less than a week. Don't believe me?
Is this an AI ad? Because none of what she just said, none of those words made any fucking sense.
Pedro Concepcion says inside this South Florida detention center, there is abuse and mistreatment. In protest, the immigration detainee originally from Cuba started a hunger strike on July 22nd, according to his wife.
Didn't Alligator Alcatraz, Auschwitz, didn't Florida's Auschwitz get ordered by the courts, by the Supreme Court of Florida, to stop. Like, stop existing. So, why do we have detainees in Florida's Auschwitz when the judge said stop building it and don't put people in there? Oh, that's right, because we're Nazi Germany, 1939.
Then she says he was hospitalized, and despite the personal toll it's taking, tonight Concepcion is still refusing to eat, according to his wife, who spoke with our Miami Telemundo station. They're not the only ones raising concerns about the Florida Everglades facility known as Alligator Alcatraz. Carlos
Florida
Auschwitz, an
Auschwitz.
immigration activist.
We stand with Mr. Pedro, and the conditions are horrific, and this is not going to stop.
A spokesperson for the Florida Division of Emergency Management telling NBC News detainees are given 3 meals per day and have access to clean showers and facilities for...
That is diametrically false. That is diametrically false and has been disproven from the moment this place was fucking built.
The federal government has not shied away from the facility either. President Trump recently toured there. And tonight, the Department of Homeland Security telling NBC News, with the opening of Alligator Alcatraz, we expanded facilities and bed space in just days. We look forward to partnering with other states to open other similar facilities. CBS News reports in an interview,
Didn't the Trump administration already try and backpedal from it too, saying we didn't authorize it and we're not giving any money to Florida for building the Auschwitz camp? So, like, the back and forth, the taking credit of it and not taking credit of it, and this, that, and the other, it's insane. And again, why are more people not outraged? I mean, I'm a streamer. I also have anger issues. I'm very open about that. And I have some severe white male privilege, so I can crash out and it's not a big deal. But at the same time, how am I alone in all this? Okay, so there's 6 of us. You 5 and me at this very moment, just crashing the fuck out like, what the fuck, people? Where's the other 11.5 million that we need? Why? How can you look at what is happening? How can you watch the news and hear this shit and just be like, yeah, that's good, don't you know? Yeah, we're from Minnesota and we believe that this is okay. Yep, we think that the alligators in Florida's Auschwitz, that's exactly what we need in this country, don't you know? Because that's basically America right now. You got the political junkies who are arguing with each other about semantics. You got the politically illiterate who are Trump supporters, or I guess Democrats too, because you can be politically illiterate on either side, I suppose. And then you have regular people who are just like, oh, that's bad, and then just continuing on their day. It's like, man, it's a good thing I have this Cohiba, otherwise I'd be stressed right now. And it's like, you do realize, once the boots come marching down your road, hurrah, hurrah, that's too late to be like, well, that's not okay, because you're going to get, well, now I can use it. You're going to get one of these to the head. Or one of these to the head. All I'm saying is, folks, the longer we allow this stupidity to go unchecked, the worse it's going to get, and the faster people like you and me are going to end up dead or in a slave camp. So, the government has pacified them. They, that is true. We are the most propagandized country in the world, and this administration has proven that if you repeat a lie enough, people will forget or even agree with it. Just in the 7 or so months that this administration has been in authority, been in power, they have rewritten history time and time and time again and rewritten their own involvement and saying, oh, we didn't do that. And it's like, you fucking did that in February. Within the first 3 weeks of your administration, you did that. No, we didn't do that. Here's video evidence of you doing it. Nope, that's not me. That's edited. Fucking liberals. And the fact that people aren't pushing back harder, the news isn't pushing back harder, the fact that elected officials aren't pushing back harder is a huge fucking problem. I'm not going to a slave camp unless it's full of sexy men. I'm too sexy for fascism. Too sexy for fascism. I'm too sexy for this boot. The leather, it hurts. I'm too sexy, it hurts. Alright. That's enough of that. I apologize, chat, and anybody who may be watching this in the now or in the future. That was uncalled for. Pro-natalist movement. Is that the birthers or something?
And Doug.
Are you here for Tracy?
We're here.
Hold on.
Kids, chaos, crying.
Why was that lady wearing an Amish dress? They're not Amish, because that was an electric lamp.
Every night is chaos, battle royale.
Yeah, what's up with... Look at her! Blink twice if you need to escape. Also, isn't that the glasses that was worn by the two people who were on the cover of the eugenics article saying that they're the superior master race and then have the ugliest fucking glasses? Actually, no, they're not the ugliest glasses. They are stolen from the lady who made the superhero costumes in The Incredibles. So they stole her look. So now the eugenicists and white supremacists and the ones who want tons of babies are teaming up to steal her look. That's pretty weird.
Flat out disaster zone.
All right, I don't give a fuck about this intro.
Procedure.
This seems like such a worthwhile way to die if it is how I go out.
So you're willing to put your life on the line for this?
I'm 100% willing to put my life on the line to have more kids.
The former Silicon Valley couple is using their...
Who's trolling? She's trolling? By being the Handmaid's Tale? I am so confused.
Tech connections to help them do it. Testing and selecting embryos based on intelligence and future health.
Wait a minute! This is that couple! Oh, this is that couple! From the fucking article. Wow! Okay. Never mind. Edna. It is Edna. That is who I was thinking of. No, darling. No capes. No capes. Of course I'm the best, darling. What did you expect? And then walks away really tiny like. In fact, I think you're about the same height, Anna.
Just a big family, but an optimal one. That's drawn accusations of eugenics, on top of claims the movement is racist because of its focus on saving Western civilization.
And they're talking about it right now.
Is there an element of racism, do you think, within the movement?
No.
No, so I mean, another way to put it is, there are racist groups that call themselves pronatalists, but they're not. They're white nationalists. A pronatalist just believes that the future is bright, humanity is good, and everyone should, if they want to, have children.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
They troll the left with controversial statements and even the way they dress.
One can both be joking and trolling and totally serious all at the same time.
But it is obviously a little bit Handmaid's Tale. Is that kind of part of the joke?
100%, absolutely. And it's funny because, I mean, this is the only way we can avoid a Handmaid's Tale future is for feminists to have more kids. I wanted to name one of our kids Beretta, but it's like, it's too trashy, and it's like naming...
But their willingness to become human clickbait for the cause has taken a toll.
Sure, we have guns for the death threats, but also we have guns because we love guns.
I am...
Are you okay? This is X.
And he's a great guy, high IQ.
The most prominent figure of the pronatalist movement is even more polarising and controversial than the Collinses, billionaire Elon Musk.
I think we can put a kibosh on this video right there. The pronatalist movement includes Elon Musk. Your argument is invalid. And do I personally think there's a problem with, like, choosing what genetic traits go into the embryo between you and your partner? Do I think that's a problem? Kinda? Do I think it's my decision to make for other people? Kinda, because it goes back to the AI problem. If we just allow AI to run rampant and take advantage of other people's IP and their achievements and so on and so forth, plus allow AI into every facet of our society without any checks or ability to save ourselves from it, we're going to die. Like, maybe not in a Terminator way, but we're going to die if we do not have a handle on AI. And the same thing with genetic manipulation within embryos. Because here's why. We've already created superbugs from pharmaceuticals, right? Ibuprofen-resistant germs that get stronger and stronger and stronger that then become more and more deadly, right? We already have CRISPR, which has already been proven to create diseases and viruses that can target people based on ethnic and racial traits at a genetic level, like this much melanin count, or these many markers from Africa or the South Sudan or wherever else, right? So if we start then saying, all right, well, little Timmy, or little Jamal, or little Muhammad, or little Jose, doesn't really matter, or Maria, we're going to make them have the best possible genetic code. At a certain point, though, you lose genetic diversity. And then you're also being swayed by what is considered superior genes, which based on your culture, right? So maybe China believes X, Y, and Z genes are the most important to have in a given child. And then Chile thinks PDQ are the most important genes. And now Chile is nothing but PDQ and China is nothing but XYZ. Their society will stagnate and collapse over enough generations, because without the diversity of PDQ and the rest of the alphabet, you will genetically collapse. It won't necessarily be incest per se, but in a sense, if everybody has the same genome and the same genome traits, at a certain point it almost does become either cloning or pseudo-cloning. So I don't know. Sniper in diapers, huh? A troll. Imagine that. Okay, well. Hey, it's a Monday, or it's a Tuesday. Let's go. But yeah, that's I think what our focus should be, rather than ensuring that our child only has these traits, what we should do is, if during the conception phase and like you find out and you're doing the whatever, as long as it's safe to do it, and I have no idea if it is, like at the embryonic stage, right? And I think it's safe to like extract like a DNA sample from the embryo. I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I don't know. But whatever stage between embryo and becoming fetus, if you determine, like, you can do a genetic mapping and be like, oh wow, this child's gonna have Down syndrome, or some other like developmental disability, right? Well, what about autism? This is where it gets scary again, right? We all have to collectively agree. It's like, is Down syndrome actually a detriment to society? Because there are many cases where people with Down syndrome are, in fact, leading meaningful lives well into adulthood. There's also examples where they have 100% care. Same thing with autism. I'm on the spectrum. All of y'all are probably on the spectrum. So what? We just get rid of autism? No, because then we'd have a bunch of normies and nobody would be able to say no to people of authority.
If anything, we need to have more autism, and if you're not autistic, that's the embryo that needs to get thrown out.
But that's still a problem, right? So, like, if you can tell genetically, like, okay, they're going to be born without a hand. Well, if we could fix that, great. Or blindness, or deafness. If we can fix the embryo from being blind, or God forbid, like the heart being formed outside of the chest, or the brain not being fully covered, like that shit happens all the time, or like the lungs not fully formed, like those kinds of defects, I think hook, line, and sinker. If we can prevent that from happening at the development stage, let's fucking go. But when you start playing with ADHD, autism, and all these other spectrum traits, ADHD makes you hypersensitive and hyper-aware. It allows you to think, and it's also a very creative disability. A lot of artists are ADHD. A lot of musicians are ADHD. A lot of them are also autistic, right? And autism, it works on a different frequency. Like you can actually, like the brain actually functions on a different frequency, which could serve any number of good purposes. So going after neurodiversity at a genetic level, but then you're also, like, you could also genetically remove transgenderism, homosexuality, lesbianism, bisexuality, asexuality. You could just, again, you could create super horny women and super fertile men. Like, it's just, no. I just think once you start going down that rabbit hole, it just snowballs out of control. And I don't think that's okay. I don't think we should be playing God. I think if we can prevent somebody from having, like, the inability to walk, see, smell, taste, hands, feet, limbs, if we can prevent those kinds of disabilities, yes, I think we should do that. But anything else, I think we're playing with too much fire. The scariest sonogram I had when I was pregnant, it was to check if the baby had all of her organs, limbs, etc., and making sure that they were in the right place. Exactly. If we could prevent that from even being a concern, that part, I think we're good. But making sure that your kid has, blonde hair, blue eyes, a specific nose, mouth, chin, ears, all that, I mean, it would be pretty sweet if I could have a really thick hairline, but, I think when you start playing those games, it just, And I don't think we know enough about human evolution to determine that autism, ADHD, even schizophrenia, or chromesthesia, or any of these other traits that we just simply don't understand aren't valuable. You know what I'm saying? And if we just start bioengineering super geniuses that are also Olympic athletes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I don't like it. One, we're definitely not mature enough as a species to handle that. We're not mature enough to handle AI. We're not mature enough to handle socialism or pure communism, right? Pure. Because we are still a selfish and immature species, even at a societal level. We just do not fundamentally care about one another. We are a selfish society. We are raised to be selfish. we are integrated in a selfish society. Yes, are there human societies across the globe where that selfishness does not exist as much or as prominently? Sure, but it still does because of inequalities, right? We have yet to get past feudalism. And even when we talk about utopian societies, we still talk about people in charge and their children having better access to things because they're in charge than the masses. Even in my Ronanist society, you still run into the problem of nepotism because, okay, you're in charge now of these departments and these agencies. Well, guess what? By necessity, you need to have access to certain things because of your responsibilities or your location with those responsibilities. And because of your responsibilities in your location, your children are going to be exposed to that. Well, because you need to be always available, or you need to have the resources at your disposal when you need them, you're going to have a different day-to-day life than the worker. Just the regular old worker, or the student, or the artist. And I think it's even more prominent if you're an artist. Say you're an artist and you have a studio in your home for recording music. And let's say you have every instrument under the sun plus the perfect soundproofing, whatever else. But the other person, like me, is just a guy who goes to work, does a thing, maybe goes to school every once in a while, maybe takes a couple of vacations. And their child wants to start doing music stuff. Well, that's fine, but now I have to acquire some things, and I don't know what to get, and I don't have any inclination or proclivities towards music, right? So this child, my child, is going to be at a distinct disadvantage even if society is openly accessible. Like, this child can go to music school. I can sign them up and send them over there. But when they come back, they're not going to have the same tools and resources. They're going to lose a little bit or a lot of whatever they had at that school. Whereas the musician will never lose it. Whether they're kids at school, whether they're abroad, whether they're at home. And then if you have musicians together having children, those children are going to have higher likelihoods of being musically inclined. So by default, you create a caste system. Even if all things are accessible and equity is the standard and meritocracy is the standard, you still end up creating a caste of, well, these workers are going to, and I hate to use the word breed, but procreate. These workers are going to have children, and then those children have the same opportunity to pursue science, math, history, the arts, as any other kid. But they are going to be at a disadvantage. They are, unless they are profoundly exceptional to begin with. Meritocracy. But they will be disadvantaged. Because we cannot even conceptualize a society where advantage or disadvantage just simply does not exist. But that's also because humans are imperfect and we are diverse and we have strengths and we have weaknesses, right? So until we can achieve true meritocracy that somehow manages to overcome the weaknesses and strengths, there will always be some level of inequality. Even if the inequality doesn't have anything to do with material conditions, quality of life, or access to health, education, or pursuits of happiness, there will still be inequality in that the advantage of the accident of birth. If you are born into a politician's household and you choose to walk the path of a politician, you're going to have a much better chance at it than the kid who grew up as a musician. And vice versa. Also the pressure of your family. It's like, well, you were born in this family, Timmy, you're going to follow in our footsteps. Also, if everyone is bionic, then it becomes so common that it doesn't matter. Exactly. And that goes back to the lack of diversity. A society that is not diverse, whether in thought, whether in appearance, whether in culture, in belief, in values, in ideas, will stagnate and eventually collapse. Stagnation is what kills society and species. So, again, to the diversity. Sorry, I've been crashing out and going on nerdy monologues. All right, so let's go back to the vidya's. That was just fucking.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people with chronic nasal congestion and
why is the atheist symbol being co-opted by Advent?
That's not the atheist symbol because it doesn't go all the way down and the loop is a little curly cute.
Motherfucker, that's the atheist symbol.
Infections would be
Nebraska Republican Congressman Mike Flood faced a fiery crowd of constituents at a town hall last night in his home state.
She missed the chance. Representative Mike Flood faced a torrential downpour of disagreement from his constituents.
He was pressed on a range of issues, including the Epstein files, the Trump administration's
a flood of issues.
Federal cuts. Take a listen.
Why did you cut SNAP and healthcare research?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States.
Yes, we do. We have fiat currency, which means we spend money into existence. That's literally the definition of our currency system, is we spend money into existence. Well, what about the Federal Reserve? What about the Mint? What about the federal budget is what determines what those people and all the others say. And we have unlimited money.
Our Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now. Of course, she covers Congress. She's a close friend of the show. And you can tell us, Caitlin, about last night in Lincoln, Nebraska, because these constituents did not hold back.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting about this district, it's the first congressional district in Nebraska, it is a very Republican red district. Mike Flood ran and won his seat by about 20 points. Last election, Donald Trump won this district. So what we're seeing here is he was in a more liberal area of the district, and you're seeing this outpouring of anxiety about this bill. Now, there are outstanding questions about who was in this crowd, whether they are more liberal-leaning and the like, but nonetheless.
Didn't you just say you're in a liberal section of the district? What? Why? Can we have any correspondence about current events that isn't contra-fucking-dictory? Like, that's not even a faux pas. That's just a faux pas. Oops, I contradicted myself, but like, damn. Can you make it a sentence or three? Like, do your job.
He represents them. So
Fuck.
They were raising concerns about what's in this bill, namely cuts to Medicaid, cuts to SNAP, cuts to other government programs. And this comes against the backdrop of this is the time that Republicans are out there trying to sell this bill to their constituents and to the public. And talking to my sources on Capitol Hill, a lot of them have been saying that their strategy here is to talk about the tax cuts, to make clear to their constituents about the extension of the Trump tax cuts, new tax relief, and yet what we're hearing is these concerns about other elements in the bill.
Okay. If you cut taxes for the working class by well, first of all, that's not what happens. We covered this. The bottom 40% of earners are actually going to be paying more in taxes. And then the center 20% are going to get like $100 in tax benefits, and then the next 40% are the ones that are getting between thousands and tens of thousands of benefits from these tax breaks. So most people in America aren't even getting a tax break. Most people in America, because
60% of Americans live in fucking poverty.
Those people are going to be paying more in taxes. They're already in poverty, and they're going to be paying more in taxes. So first of all. Second of all, even if that wasn't the case, gutting Medicare and Medicaid by $3 trillion fucking dollars is going to collapse and cripple the American healthcare system. So even if you were paying less taxes, you wouldn't be able to go to a hospital. When we already have shortages in every single facet of healthcare. And in fact, rural hospitals have already started closing. So what? $100 in tax breaks so that you have to drive 3 hours if you are suffering a medical emergency? And isn't this a liberal news outlet? It's CBS. Jesus Christ.
These voters covered a lot of ground. It wasn't just the big, beautiful bill. They also pressed him on immigration. Here's what they said.
And ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people. How much does it cost for
You get him, lady. Let's go.
And ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people. How much does it cost?
You know what? I think we just created a new meme with this hat. Viva la Revolution! She deserves the fucking hat. Let's hear it one more time for posterity.
And ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people. How much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
Americans went to the polls.
Oh my God!
And they had a choice.
God damn! That one creator grabs his glasses and chucks them across the room, but these are the only pair that I have, so I'm not going to do that. And I don't want to slam this hat, and I obviously don't want to slam my
very not real 100% prop rifle for prop purposes and entertainment purposes only. I am not brandishing a weapon on a live stream because I'm fairly certain that violates terms and conditions.
Wow! I'm sorry. Let's hear that again.
Burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people. How much does it cost for fascism?
Hold on. I'm sorry. We're going to have to do something here real quick.
$8.4 million a day to illegally detain people. How much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
Did the communist music make it hit that much harder? I hope so, because I was just like, you know what would make that sound even cooler? It's like, what's it gonna take to stop fascism in our country? And it's just Russia. I don't know what her name is. Did we miss it? Did we? I don't know that it actually says her name, but this woman is straight up fucking gangster.
Americans went to the polls in November, and they had a choice between a Democratic candidate that had an enforcement, fentanyl, drugs, human trafficking. And they had a choice between that and a candidate that said, close the border.
Wow. We had a choice between a candidate and then makes up a bunch of lies about her because she was actually to the right of the Trump campaign during the presidential election cycle about what she would do at the border, which is actually out loud saying what the administration is doing now. And people were not having it. Also, and here's a thought, if that lady from Nebraska called that shit out and called it fascism, which I might have to figure out a way. See, this is why I need to figure out more stuff. Like, I think this is why people have Steam Decks, so they can press a button. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Like, there's a button where it transitions from the White House to, like, a bright red communist flag. Oh, shit. That would be anyway. I'm getting off topic here. And actually, write that idea down though, because maybe I'll figure that out one day. Please. But if people from Nebraska are going to Republican town halls and calling this shit fascism, I think the administration should take that as a sign, like, we're doing the fascism a little too fascisty because people are aware of it. And that's the thing about fascism. If the fascism is overt, people will resist it and prevent you from achieving it. If it's subtle, then you become Emperor Palpatine. Where did it go? You become Emperor Palpatine. Let the hate flow through you. And then you become the evil empire of the first galactic empire. Alright. This just in. Carrie Underwood is having a tough time maintaining her farm because there have been a shortage of farmhands. Wow. Isn't she a multi-millionaire pop superstar global phenomenon? She can't hire regular people with a regular wage to work on her farm? Sucks to suck, fasci. Trying to find out her name to get her in the campaign. Abso-fucking-lutely. She can be our boots on the ground in Nebraska. Welcome to the chat, Tylo. She's also a Trump supporter. Oh wait, Carrie. Yeah, I thought the lady that. Sorry, She was warned. Was she warned? Well, everybody called it, but you know, right? She's saying at the inauguration, like hasn't that like devastated her career too? Like, hasn't that prevented her from like being able to do things? Well, I need a beret that's a little less hair messy. Well. Well, sucks to suck. You know, Carrie Underwood was a great artist until she sang at that inauguration. I wonder why. That's all. I almost want to say, like, this video, Anna, like, save that clip. It starts at, I think, 1:59 technically. So just save that video because I think we can use this video for sure. All right. Tensions rise at the town hall. Well, we did see that. More tensions rise, booed and heckled. If we're running out of things to talk about at the end of the stream, we will watch these and be filled with joy and rapture at this piece of shit getting exactly what he deserves.
Soon,
Okay, so Oklahoma welcomes teachers from Mexico to address shortage. Oklahoma welcomes Mexican teachers to address the teacher shortage, which kind of implies that some of the teachers that are contributing to the shortage were ones that were detained by Oklahoma in the first fucking place. And now you have the caucasity to go to Mexico and be like, can you please send us some teachers? And you're still going to be racist towards them. They're going to need visas. They're still going to need visas, but they're going to be Mexican nationals. They're going to be brown, which means they are going to be targets by ICE immediately. And racist motherfuckers. Go back to Mexico if you're going to speak Spanish. This is America. It's like, okay, but I was here on a work visa so I could teach your children. Well, I don't want none of them S words to teach my children in the first place. That doesn't even make sense. Like, make that make sense. This is going to be an interesting video.
Pay more for healthcare.
15 seconds. Let's go.
It was the first day of school for 3 new Oklahoma teachers from Mexico. The educators are part of a brand new program focused on bringing qualified educators to Oklahoma.
We know that here in Oklahoma City, we need more teachers. We hear that from school leaders across the city, that they struggle to attract just candidates, right? And then to attract top qualified candidates is a whole nother bar.
Fuel OKC, a local nonprofit, launched a new program this school year, bringing teachers to Oklahoma, called the Oklahoma Teacher Pathway Program. The idea came after a university in Puebla, Mexico, reached out saying their graduating students were interested in teaching in the U.S.
Why? Why would you, a Mexican, be interested in coming to the United States at all when this country is actively engaged in ethnically cleansing you from this country? This administration is actively engaging in genocidal actions by targeting, capturing, and trafficking literally Mexicans, as well as other demographics. Like, why would you even want to come here during this administration? Why? I am annoyed. And I probably listened to that a little bit too long. I guess you're supposed to, I'm still working on the timing of, watching versus commentating. But, where did that quip come from? That's who you're running against? I'm running against Trump, right? Like, because he's a fucking idiot? Was that the quip? Because I was watching and then read that after the fact, so I think I missed the point. I don't even want to be... Well, I do want to be in America. I just don't want to be dealing with fascism. I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free, but... Oh, wait. I guess you can't sing that song anymore, because that line is no longer true. Because we are definitely not free. Not you, not me, not anybody in this country. Because if you can have your due process revoked arbitrarily and your citizenship ignored outright arbitrarily, you ain't free, bub. Mike Carney. But that was the Nebraska guy, wasn't it? Wait. Did I skip over my opponent?
We are occupied. The corruption has become a matter of national security. Oh, his ad. Ah. Well, we can't go back to the ad because that's not how that works. Whoopsie-daisy.
Her name is Upayep. It's a Catholic university in Puebla, Mexico. Already has existing relationships with the University of Oklahoma and with OSU. The students were really eager and really excited and really qualified. We had students from all different disciplines, a lot of engineering and math interests.
The 3 teachers signed on to teach for 3 years at Santa Fe South schools. But as tensions rise around immigration here in Oklahoma and around the country, the nonprofit says it is a concern, but one they hope they don't have to face.
You know, we do recognize that we are living in some dark and dangerous times, and hopefully we won't have to deal with those, and we can just enjoy the peace and the cultural exchange that we are looking to achieve.
Like, what's wrong with you people? That's not how this works. You don't just be like, well, come on over here. I hope things work out for you. And if they don't, well, that's a you problem, not an us problem. That just means we're going to have to find another substitute teacher, don't you know? I know Oklahoma sounds a little different than Minnesota, but yeah. It just seems a little bit more sarcastic when you do the don't you know.
Most of that rhetoric is focused on illegal immigration, but that was the very first question that the university professors asked. Are students going to be safe? We hope that is...
So wait a minute. Let's hear that again, folks.
That was the very first question that the university professors asked. Are students going to be safe? We hope that isn't an issue.
Bruh. The university asked you, hey, ¿qué pasa? Hey, gringo, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué? I don't know how to say any of the rest of what I want to say in Spanish, but, ¿qué? Are our students that are coming from Mexico going to be safe? But Spanish, just pretend I said that in Spanish. And then the response to that question, are our students going to be safe? Your response, I hope so, and then sends the students anyway? What's wrong with this university? It's a Catholic university. Oh, it's okay. Nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Go forth, my children, to the United States of America and endure your trials and tribulations in the name of our Lord, the Holy Father. A substitute teacher, that dagnabbit, tells students, we are the greatest country on the freaking planet with no fault whatsoever. I'm just saying. ¿Qué pasa? Hey, gringo, we're going to send people over there to teach? Are they going to be safe? Maybe. I can't promise anything. Hey, that's not good, man. That's a no bueno. We're going to probably go to Canada now. Like, that's how that conversation should have gone. I shouldn't have done that accent. That accent, I think, is a very not good accent. I shouldn't have done that. What I should have done is we are going to send our students to your country, to the state of Oklahoma. Are they going to be safe? Maybe? We hope so. We definitely hope so. This is not what we had in mind.
We want the guarantee that they are going to be safe. Otherwise, why would we send our students to you?
Because we really love the Mexican chimichangas, and we think they'd be great with the children.
Of course, but you see, that is because we Mexicano are very, very good with the children. We have the chacla, we have the love, the passion. But that doesn't mean we want to die for your country and your racism. So I must pass at this point in time.
Is that better? Probably not. That actually sucks. That like fucks up your throat. I don't know how y'all talk like that.
My name is Antonio Banderas.
More like that slow friend of his that's very racist, his cousin Slowpoke Rodriguez. Now you sound like a Mexican William Shatner. Like the Tres Equis guy or something. Well, I was trying to do my telenovela, and then I ended up going French somewhere in the middle there, so I gotta work on my accents, but suffice to say... Woo! Hold on. Ah, damn it. That's not going anywhere. Oh. That hurts my fucking elbow. Well, okay, so no honey for me, apparently. SNL did Antonio Banderas. My name is Antonio E. Banderas, and this is, how do you say, yes.
Show.
Well, I don't know why it's so crystallized. And the thing is, I've tried microwaving it, and it did fuck all. And I also don't want to put too much plastic in the honey, because there's probably already 1 or 2 plastic spoons in here anyway, according to science. Alright, now that I've created clips in which I can be accused of being vehemently racist against the Latino community, let's move on. Hold on. Is the very next video Oklahoma literally being corrupt? Oh my fucking god.
All right, so for anybody who's got teachers in their family,
So, are you fucking kidding me? Hey Mexico, could you send us some teachers?
Sure, why not?
Sweet. And by the way, you fucking liberal, you better get the fuck out of our goddamn fucking state, motherfucker. Because this is America, and America comes first, and if you can't America first here in Oklahoma, where we just got them there Mexicans to come down over here, you can get your fucking liberal ass out. I tell you what. I guess missing Thursday's stream made my vocal cords go soft again. Oh my god. That was rough. Okay. Antonio Banderas sounds just like my dad when he spoke English. Makes sense because they're both from Spain. We don't want them liberal teachers, we just want them Mexican teachers. Can't guarantee their safety, though, with all them racism going on because of America First. But we're just going to completely disregard that America First is going to include Mexico because Mexicans were actually in America First, and therefore we ain't no gosh darn hypocrites like that them fucking liberals. I can't. I am literally unable to can.
Let's hear this shit.
Oklahoma. This is a story you'll probably want to listen to because there are teachers that are relocating there from progressive states who will now be evaluated on the America First agenda. Oklahoma as a state now is going to require new teachers to pass an America First test to keep their license. They're going to...
Hello, Mr. Sanchez. Congratulations on graduating teacher school in Mexico. Welcome to Oklahoma, Oklahoma City specifically. As part of your onboarding process, I'm going to need you to take this evaluation proving that you believe in America First policies and ideology. And you'll have to write that in English, by the way. So, any questions? Okay? Just kidding with you. This is Fox News, so they probably think that this is a good thing. But it's the fact of the matter. It's the fact of the matter. It doesn't even matter if Fox is reporting it, or MSNBC, or CBS, or any of them. It's the fact of the matter. Oklahoma City is bringing in Mexican teachers. The state of Oklahoma requires all new teachers to pass America First. Propaganda. These Mexican nationals, in order to work in the state of Oklahoma, in the United States of America, which is not Mexico, their actual country of origin, are going to have to take an America First evaluation before they can teach as Mexican nationals. I wonder if the Mexican teachers are exempt. I cannot imagine that they are. I would be shocked if they were. Obviously they should be. But the people who pass these kinds of laws are too fucking ignorant to recognize the absolute fallacies involved in doing this. And if they wrote the law so that it's only Democrats, then that is in violation of the 14th Amendment. It's in violation, it's discriminatory by definition. Oh, darn. Ruining this cigar. I'm gonna have to smoke it. Why would any educated Mexican person want to move to Oklahoma? Especially to be a teacher when you have to take a loyalty test to a country that you do not belong to. It's like All in the Family when Archie went to night school and he said in order to get his diploma, he has to lie on the exam. I mean, I'll tell you, the idiots who changed the law to make them say what they want them to say know nothing about America. No, they don't. And it's obviously white supremacy that they're pushing, right? They don't give a shit about legislating or governing the country. What they care about is creating a white supremacist ethno-state. That's what they care about. And that's what they're achieving. That is what they're pushing and what they are succeeding in accomplishing. Because, again, ICE is terrorizing brown people, ignoring their due process, kidnapping and trafficking them, either within the United States or outside of it. I only understand poor Mexicans who work in farms or something. I don't even understand that because at this point it's not even safe to be in America. At the very least, prior to this administration, if you worked in the fields, yeah, maybe somebody would notice eventually and then you get deported and then you cross the border again and you go back to work. Catch and release. But now you are being actively terrorized, whether you're here legally, whether you're an American citizen, whether you're a multi-generational citizen, from going back to the Mexican-American War. You're brown, get the fuck out. We're going to capture you, we're going to kidnap you, and we're going to traffic you. It makes sense for them to go to a place like Oklahoma, but now that Mexico's government is better than ours, it makes no sense. No, exactly. And Sheinbaum is making Mexico better for Mexicans. Like, she is literally making Mexico great again. So I'm really not understanding why Mexicans are fleeing the country at this point. They want them to say Mexicans work on farms, they're good at it, they don't die when they work because their backs don't get broken. Right. It's that racist shit. That's all they're fighting for at this point. The racist white ethno-state only allows people of color to exist within the country as slave labor. And that's just simply not okay. And it is sickening that shit could be on the exam. We might not get to it unless I find it right now. This is so hard to see on this laptop. Oh, there it is.
If you have a passion to achieve more for yourself, your family.
We have a brand new video in this morning showing a raid by ICE agents at a Home Depot in Los Angeles, and it had been the operation had been deemed Operation Trojan Horse. In the video we're showing you, obtained by CNN, shows Border Patrol agents loading into the back of a Penske truck just before the raid got underway. And the LA Times reports that the driver of the truck pulled up and told day laborers outside the store he was looking for workers. Then agents jumped out the back of the truck. 16
people live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die.
Do I need to translate it into German? Because I honestly feel as though people disregard what Trump says and dismiss that it's Nazi rhetoric because he's speaking English in America in 2025. But if you translate that into German and replace... Actually, I don't even think he mentioned the word Mexican at all. He always said they and them, right? He used pronouns. All right, so these people. All right. I will translate this into German. Die Leute des Wohnen in die innere Stadt. Die machen diesen Arbeiter nicht. Die machen das einfach nicht. Wenn die müde sind, wir haben versucht, jeder Mensch hat es versucht, die machen es nicht. Diese Leute machen das natürlich. Natürlich. Ich habe gesagt, was passiert, wenn die es bekommen kann? Zu einer Bauer gestern die andere Tage. Was passiert, wenn ihre Rücken gehen schlecht? Er hat gesagt, ihren Rücken sind nie schlecht, Herr, weil wenn die eine schlechte Rücken bekommen, die werden sterben. I'm just saying, I don't know what Hitler, whenever we hear about Hitler, it's always his speeches where he's shouting, right? But it is Three Stooges Hitler. That is part of the problem. But suffice to say, you just heard that in German. Is that not the same shit that a Nazi would have said about the Jews? The Jews don't get bad backs, because if they got bad backs, they would die. The Jews won't do this work. They just don't. We've tried. Everybody's tried. We've all tried. They won't do it. But they are capable of doing this work. And what was the... They do it naturally. They're naturally capable of doing this work. What happens if they get a bad back? And this is what the Nazis said about the Jews. The Jews are naturally inclined to be greedy. That they are naturally inclined to be selfish and this, that, and the other. I don't know what specific work they were naturally inclined to do. I don't think it was farm work. But the Nazis literally said this shit about the Jewish population. American slave owners said it about black people. About slaves. Slaves... The African, the Negro, are naturally inclined for physical, hard labor. They are only good for physical, manual, hard labor. That's what they were born to do. That's what they're bred to do. That's what they're naturally inclined to do. And then with the racism of the skull and the whatever else, they're not as smart as us white folk. They're not as capable as doing learning and arithmetic. It's the same racist bullshit. But because he's not speaking German in 1939, evidently it's just being tough on immigration. I cannot fucking read chat when it's that fucking small. And it's sickening that sort of crap could be on the exam. That's why... They don't like me having a professional job. No, it's absolutely true. They got mad at that teacher who passed along that worksheet where it was racist or whatever, but now they want them to be racist on the exam as long as it's not anti-American. Exactly. And then you brought up quite a few good points. And he got to also say black people are lazy without saying it. True. The dog whistles. They said that about slaves. Then when they stopped working for free, they started calling them lazy. Yes, exactly. So, like, I guess I could have read it over there. Yeah, this is just breathtakingly racist and cruel and malevolent. Like, there is no other explanation or justification for this rhetoric, for this specifically choice of words, than racism. That's it. That's all this can be construed as, is racism. Alright, so that was towards the bottom. Yeah, let's fucking,
See what scholarships
martial law, let's go. Unskippable ad number 1. Unskippable ad, skippable ad. Whoops.
In Capital City. Now he's taking over the police force, bringing in 800 National Guard troops and sending hundreds of federal agents onto the streets for night patrols. The stated goal of moving the homeless to undisclosed locations and arresting criminals.
Again, using the National Guard to arrest the homeless and criminals. Homeless people who don't have the means of identifying themselves will be sent to prison or worse and be sent to these prison camps under the guise of law and order. I mean, it doesn't get more obvious, overt, opaque. How many more words do I need to use? They are saying every quiet part out loud. We want them to work in our fields. We don't want them in our cities. We can't make them do what we want. We don't want them here. And then the homeless, we don't want the homeless. We don't want to look at them. We don't want to see them. We don't want to think about it. So we're going to get rid of them. We'll arrest them, put them in the concentration camps, make them work, make them earn their room and board. From the concentration camp, no less. Like, folks, this is... we were in step 8 of fascism 3 months ago. We could argue left, right, and center that we are past step 9 and officially in step 10. Like, what is it going to take? Is it going to actually take door knocking with people in uniforms demanding to check your home before you realize, like, democracy is already out the fucking window and the only option we have left is a general strike or armed resistance? Like, we are well past the point of they're going to stop the next election. They are already actively rigging the elections. They are actively deploying the military in our streets. They are disappearing Americans, the most vulnerable. The first they came for fucking poem is already 5-7 stanzas down. And then they came for me. Like, we are literally at the day and then they came for me. Greece Carpaccio. To be honest, I wouldn't even trust you with a pen, let alone my entire wardrobe. But I don't even think you can comprehend basic English. Oh, okay. Because for a second, I thought, are you insulting me? But okay, I must have missed the context there. They were too tired to pick fruit, leave it to the Mexicans. Right. Oh, that's the job of the help, of the others. How's that debate coming along? Oh, that destiny. I see. I am now picking up what's being put down. All right. Anyway, 30 minutes. I guess I can muscle through here without the water.
This after one of his aides was attacked and robbed on a D.C. street.
We will deliver like nobody's ever delivered.
But in making his announcement, many of President Trump's facts were wrong.
Murders
Shocking.
in 2023 reached the highs. It just
There were 274 homicides in Washington, D.C., down 32% from the year before. And according to the Justice Department, violent crime in the city is the lowest it's been in over 30 years.
Good afternoon.
But that's the game fascists play. They make up lies. They force you to counteract or contradict or chase the lie. Meanwhile, they've already spewed another 30 lies. And so all you're ever doing is chasing the lie instead of doing the work of calling it out. It's like, okay, that's what they're saying. This is the reality. This is what we need to be doing. Like, they're sitting here lying. We're sitting here doing what needs to be done. Stop getting distracted.
Everybody.
A fact D.C.'s Mayor, Muriel Bowser, pointed out.
It is also true that we experienced a crime spike post-COVID, but we
They are militarizing D.C. over a codename person who violated the Social Security Administration by hacking into it, got beat up. I didn't know it was by a girl, but that's funny, actually. And they're militarizing DC. They only needed an excuse. Let's be very clear here. They already invaded California under the pretense of law and order when it wasn't requested and it was unlawful to do in the first place. They're doing the same thing in D.C., except there's more gray area involved.
And tactics
that
violent offenders offer streets.
This is Liberation Day in D.C. and
But Trump is pushing ahead, and the language he's using is causing concern, especially in communities of color.
I am concerned, based on the language that the president used at his press conference, that he intends to treat children, wayward children, admittedly, but children as adult criminals, and that he plans to treat them very harshly, and he said as much.
It won't be that unusual to see guardsmen and military equipment on these streets. That's what happens in an emergency. The last time was when Trump supporters violently attacked the Capitol.
Well, at least they talked about that.
That was a crisis. When it comes to crime, if you look at the statistics, they say this is not. Patty Culhane.
So again, as a journalist, you did right by getting a regular person like, yeah, this is very concerning because they're going to go after kids, treat them like adults, blah, blah, blah. Right? Like that's your job, 100%. Did good right there. At the same time, though, as a journalist, where's the call to action? Reporting on the news of fascism is happening in real time in the capital of the country where the fascism is happening in real time, and that's all that's being talked about. That's the news. Back to you with the weather. Like, no. This is happening, and this is what can be done about it. These are the people who are contradicting or contrasting, who are fighting back, pushing back. These are the lawmakers. These are the people that you can contact. This is how to contact them. There is no mention whatsoever about anything remotely resisting. Nothing remotely in the realm of resistance being mentioned at all. And that is an abject failure of journalism in this country and in the way that it's being portrayed. And that's even by Al Jazeera. U.S. what? Well, hey, good news. Let's do some good news. Why not?
Very funny, Limu.
Wix, one platform.
Come on! Can we not get fucking 80,000 ads?
This solar installation crew is in high demand. The reason? Homeowners are racing to meet a December 31st deadline. That's when a federal tax credit designed to offset the upfront costs of converting to clean energy will end.
Right now is great. So everybody heard the tax credit is about to end. Everybody's like, yo, I need to get this tax credit in before the end of the year.
The cost of installing the panels on a home ranges from $10,000 to $50,000 here in Pennsylvania, but the tax credit covers 30% of the cost. And with monthly energy prices rising, homeowner Joe Markowitz sees it as a worthwhile investment.
Well, this is the part that gets me about it, though, right? I'm getting solar panels in my house, too. Like, for one, I don't have to wait a whole fucking year, which is awesome. But for two, like, energy costs are rising every single month. Ohio has already reported that AEP has record profits after raising electric costs because there are AI data centers being built and used in the state of Ohio. So, and in just 3 years, the cost of energy has gone up by over 50%. It went from 15 cents per kilowatt hour to 24 cents per kilowatt hour. And that's just in 3 years. If that continues in another 3 years, it'll go up by 13 or 14 cents per kilowatt hour, which would be what, 39, 40? Which would have been almost an effective tripling of energy costs in less than a decade. Like, that is an unsustainable metric. Before I could even enter the Oval Office, it is possible, that would be 2028, in 2028, because I wouldn't enter until 2029, in 2028, it would be possible for electricity in the state of Ohio to be 40 cents per kilowatt hour, tripling what it was in 2022, which obviously is not good, right? That's unsustainable. Oh my goodness. Secondly, the tax credit being taken away at the end of the year. It's expiring. When we already rely so heavily on fossil fuels and whatever power generation of AEP and whatever else, you would want to create more solar panel incentives because we would be generating the electricity offsetting what is being generated by AEP. Oh, but in Ohio, AEP has successfully lobbied the Ohio legislature to push, and I think pass, legislation that will allow AEP to own all future solar panel installations and lease them to the homeowner and the business. Meaning, if you lease the solar panels, you will be paying AEP for the trouble instead of paying for the solar panels yourselves. In fact, I don't even think you'll be legally allowed to get the solar panel through a loan. Like, it's only going to be allowed if AEP owns it, I think, or maybe that's the next step. But either which way, leasing solar panels, meaning you're still paying an electric bill that they are arbitrarily determining is going to be a specific cost. They're only going to allow you to get so many solar panels because they're not going to let you lease a full system that generates more than what you use. They are going to double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip, and fuck every single citizen in this state, whether or not they have solar panels, because they are not being regulated. They are not being held accountable. And that's just not, like, that's not sustainable. Again, cost of living is already egregious. Cost of electricity and utilities continue to skyrocket. Meanwhile, because they're all privatized, these companies are making money hand over fist. Record profits, record profits. The only way you can make record profits is if you are extorting the customers who are using the utility. If there was ever a reason to refuse to pay a bill, their greed should be one of them. And if there was ever anything to unite your neighbors that you have never talked to in the years that you've lived where you live, that would be the reason. Hey, neighbor, do you hear this shit about what AEP is doing? It's like, yeah, I do. Yeah, we should just not pay our bills. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We shouldn't be paying our bills. Because this is bullshit, right? It just keeps going up and up and they're profiting. Yeah, man, this is absolutely stupid. You know what I'm going to do? What? I'm going to talk to my neighbor over here. Bet. I'm going to talk to my neighbor over here. We could literally activate every single neighborhood in Ohio. America, to be honest. But hey, that's how that goes. Fine. You don't give a shit about the fascism. Fine. You don't care about ICE. Fine. You don't care about any of the other corrupt shit that's happening, but you do care about your light bill, don't you? So if that's what ends up galvanizing people to act, let's fucking do it. Florida teacher fired just for calling student by their preferred name. State law requires written parental permission before teacher can use their preferred name, even a nickname. I do remember that. She was the first teacher fired for violating the state's Don't Say Gay law. Ron DeSantis also tried to back out of a settlement deal, allowing her to at least retain her minimum teaching credentials that she could use in another jurisdiction. The school superintendent has now officially ruled that she will not be rehired by the school district, and she has worked for 11 years. See, it's not thinking through. Not even nicknames. Okay, what if your friends call you the Quill, but your name is Robert? Now your teacher's trying to call you the Quill to to be more relatable to you, to try and build rapport, and now you can get fired for that? That's insane. That is truly insane. What's also insane is the fact that I've drank like 2 or 3 of these, and now it's coming home to roost. So, we are going to do another brief intermission because apparently I have the bladder of a small child. So, I don't know how many more of these communist songs are banging, though. Let's find out if this is one that's banging. It's got to load first. Or it's just not going to load at all. That sucks. Alright. BRB. That'll be good enough. I think that was a good one. No funny witticisms. We only got 15 minutes left, but very angelic. I like that one. I'm gonna have to create like a playlist within the playlist, and then recreate the playlist so that we actually can have just a good playlist of all of the communist music that we want to listen to. Okay. Oh, I needed that. So would they have to call me by my government name instead of Anna? Apparently, yeah. They are all banging. I feel like I'm at church, but it's okay. I like church music. Well, I play RPGs, so classical angelic music is usually the prelude to a boss fight. ICE arrest high school student at drop-off for orientation with guns drawn and live ammunition. 15-year-old boy with special needs was finally released after agents admit they had the wrong guy. Agents left live bullets on ground, told school keep them, use them for target practice. Our government stated they were going to go after criminals at a school. What criminals are you going to find? Kids trying to enroll? Today's orientation day. So that's the 15-year-old Levitt said was fake news reported by the LA Times. I mean, that's just pure terrorism. That is what that is. That is pure, unfiltered, unmitigated terrorism. And the fact that these agents are doing this, and the fact that this administration is defending this, whether directly defending it or indirectly by denying it ever happened, is how that isn't the galvanizing act, how that isn't a call to arms to the American people, how that is not the means by which the message is delivered that this is no longer a free country, escapes me. And these streams frustrate the shit out of me because I'm not sure if we're getting the message across or not. So, speaking of fascism,
Dick's House of Sport, a new destination.
I think we're going to get 2 ads again.
With Go Macro.
Ashley Lawrence Sanders, she's an assistant professor of African American history and U.S. history at the University of Colorado, and she joins us live from Boulder. Ashley, so the Trump administration wants national parks to come up with this list of what it deems as signs of improper ideology. How significant is this move by Trump, and are these the first steps in mass censorship of American history?
What do you mean the first steps? We've been doing this since January 21st, 2025. This motherfucker has been rewriting history within the first minute of his administration. The fuck you mean this is the first few steps?
I think it's pretty significant. I think in some ways we're seeing an unprecedented push from an executive branch on down to really control how history is represented in our national park system. I mean, this has always been a system that's been critiqued, I think, by historians for sometimes not telling the full narrative. I think in the last several years and a few decades, we've made huge strides to correct that. And now we're seeing the backlash. And I think that it could be very detrimental to people understanding the full American story, as we saw in the Philadelphia case.
Yeah, and it's interesting because staff at national parks have already flagged references to slavery, the Civil War, the Civil Rights Movement, many others. I mean, Trump calls it bringing back sanity to American history. But what exactly is improper ideology, and who decides what is and what isn't?
The administration flagged slavery and the Civil fucking War, which was fought over slavery, as improper fucking material. African American and American history, it's sad that they are separate as if they're not intertwined. Exactly. And we are missing the third key component of American history, which is indigenous history, which isn't taught at all. First of all, how many people actually know whose tribal lands they are living upon? Like, I don't know, we talked about Nebraska and Oklahoma. Which tribes lived in Nebraska and Oklahoma? Now, nobody knows, right? Nobody knows, right? Secondly, of those tribes, how much of their history was taught to the, within the tribe about the lineage and heritage of their leaders, right? Because if I am not mistaken, which again, I'm not confident in my knowledge about indigenous history and culture because we weren't taught it, their traditions were oral. They didn't write. I don't believe they had their... I don't believe... No, that's not true, because technically the ancient Mexica, the Incans and the Mayans did have a writing system. Okay, so there we go. How many indigenous cultures' writing systems have survived? and or their texts, their histories. Right? They might not have called their leaders kings, queens, and emperors, but I am absolutely certain, I believe they're called elders in most cases, and shamans. I'm absolutely certain that there are histories that go back generations talking about the elder this, the shaman that. Why aren't we taught about how before colonization occurred in the 1500s, that 1,000 years before that, the Iroquois and the Cherokee, I don't know if they ever crossed paths. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. That's part of the fucking problem that I'm trying to address. They crossed paths and began trading. And it was the great whatsoever from the Iroquois and the great whatsoever from the Cherokee that created the first Iroquois-Cherokee treaty and trade agreement. Like, we do not know American history at all. Period. We don't know American history. We know Amerigo Vespucci, we know Christopher Columbus, and we know Manifest Destiny. That is what we know. That is not American history. That is colonization. That is one fraction of the American history that has occurred in these lands. Going back however long you wanted to go back. And as we have deduced through logical reasoning, most of these cultures did have a written language. I know there are some that did not. I don't know which ones they are, but that's, again, part of the problem. We don't know American history. And now, this administration wants to erase what little history we fought for to be told and to be shared, which would be the slavery and the Civil War type stuff, where we don't talk about it because that would hurt white people's feelings. So this administration is literally erasing any history that makes white people look bad, on top of erasing the fact that we've already erased the history of the conquered and colonized peoples that were indigenous to America in the first place. You didn't see how many commas I was making, but there's a lot over here. How divisive can it be? Apparently quite a bit, apparently. There are probably monuments and plaques about historical events that happen at those locations, right, that depict white America in a wrong way. According to Trump, that's divisive. I know New York City because I looked it up, and I don't know much about the tribes who lived here. I only know the name of the tribe. In Puerto Rico, the Chachiquis were the leaders. By the way, everyone should check out this website, nativeland.ca. Actually, I'm going to check out that too. Because I'm fairly certain I've never seen this map either. And it starts off in Australia. Wow. Yeah, that's a fuckload more than I ever heard of. Oh, the Appalachian Mountains. You know how we have the Appalachian Mountains? Yeah. Named after the Appalachians. The actual tribe, which is apparently found in Florida, but nowhere close to the Appalachian Mountains. So, yeah. We can and should talk about this at some point too. I really think we need to do more stream days, but between my schedule and Anna's, I don't know that we can create a good playlist for content with our current schedules. Hopefully that changes here soon with, investment money. Listen, we can bash crypto and we can bash the economy all day long, but if it gives us the resources necessary to combat against fascism and we can use their blood money against them, then so fucking be it. I will fight fire with fire if need be. But all that to say, it looks like we actually did get caught up here. So I guess we'll do some closing thoughts before tomorrow. As always, thank you all for coming and joining the stream. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for watching, subscribing. Oh, wait, no. Like, as in liking and anyway. Feel free, and please don't forget to share the stream with your friends. I think you can watch it without having to have a Twitch account, but I could be wrong. So, spread the word. Beyond that, we will continue doing this for as long as we can, and we will continue to improve our craft. I'm going to look into trying to make the stream a little bit more entertaining and engaging, or interactive. So, I can press a button, transition that out. That would be kind of cool. I think that would be kind of cool. And I'm also going to start looking at maybe a different software, because apparently Hassan just uses OBS. Not XSplit or anything else, and we're only streaming to one channel anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter, right? So, more to come. We're going to be looking through things, and hopefully, it seems like the laptop worked, so we will be back tomorrow at 7. We will be talking about Worldwide Wednesdays, and yeah, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your night. Please say a word of thought for my computer, Compita, as Anna has named her. And, yeah, President out. See you tomorrow.